Welcome to Business Law 101. This is Attorney Lu. Today I will be discussing with you the common misconceptions about bankruptcy reorganizations. First off, so how does a bankruptcy reorganization generally work? Generally speaking, when a company goes through a bankruptcy reorganization, it means the two things. First, the company does not have the cash to pay its debts as they become due. And second, the overall value of the assets of the company is less than its total debts. For the second factor, at least it is expected that the overall value of the assets of the company is less than its total debts. So in a bankruptcy reorganization, this is the order of in which different stakeholders of the company are paid. Here, payment could be in the form of cash, or it could be in the form of, it could be in kind, meaning being paid with assets or other valuable things, such as equity interest in the reorganized company. So first, you have to pay off the secured creditors. The secured creditors are creditors of a company that have received part or all of the assets of a company as the collateral to secure the company's obligation to the creditors. And then after that, you have other kind of creditors, statutory creditors and general creditors. It could be your employee, it could be the trade payables, it could be unsecured loans from the bank or other lenders. It could be the internal revenue services. If there's any assets or funds left. And within them, there are different pecking orders as well. And for the creditors within the same priority in the pecking order, if by then there's not enough asset left over, then there will be a pro rata distribution based upon the total amount owed to them. You can tell by now, because of the 2 points above, it usually will leave nothing for the shareholders of the company, whether they are the preferred shareholders or the common shareholders. Of course, if there's anything left by then, the preferred shareholders have preference over the common shareholders, which I covered in another video. And a common misunderstanding of some people is that a bankruptcy reorganization process will only allow the business, would only discharge the debts. So after the company goes over these, it's all upside, it looks like, right? It's not that simple. Because it may be all upside for the shareholders of the reorganized company, but not for the shareholders for the current shareholders of the company. In fact, all of the equity interest of the current shareholders are almost always wiped out in the reorganization. And after the bankruptcy is filed and before the reorganization is complete, there will be the so-called debtor in possession financing. That will provide cash to finance the continuing obligation of the business. Recall in the beginning of the video, I explained that bankruptcy reorganization means the company does not have cash to pay its debts as they become due. So the debtor in possession financing is meant to cover this kind of shortfall during the interim period. And upon the completion of the reorganization, the creditors that are not paid in full, whether it's secured creditor or general creditor, they will receive equity interest in the company in its reincarceration. Therefore, they become the shareholders of the new company, and they will benefit from the goodwill and other intangible assets of the business. The all upside, going forward, that a business may be able to generate and deliver. So you may ask, if that's the case, then why do shares of already bankrupt companies have value, including some of the public traded shares? In theory, the company may sell some of its unencumbered assets to bidders for cash, and the cash from there may be more than enough to pay off or to cover the amount payable to the creditors, right? Therefore, leaving the company with enough cash to finance and to turn around, and which will breathe life into the otherwise worthless shares of the company. How likely is that? It's not impossible, right? And second, in theory, the company may issue new shares for cash to turn the finance around. Shares essentially represent the shareholders' claim against the assets of the company after the claims of the creditors, right? So it's just another sort of indirect and implied form of the sale of the assets of the company. Essentially, you're trying to tell people who have imposed bankruptcy upon the company, or a company itself that has voluntarily filed for the bankruptcy, that their assessment of the finance and other aspects of the company, including the value of its assets, is wrong, right? And so you can tell now pretty much, the share price by then represents a hope, a lottery ticket. And you can tell recently the lottery ticket of Hertz after it filed for bankruptcy went up 400%. And if you look at the financial picture of the Hertz, you can tell it's a little bit irrational. But at the time Hertz filed for bankruptcy, it had $1 billion of cash, $2 billion of assets, to the extent such asset could be sort of objectively appraised. And then it had $19 billion of debts. So you need somebody to come up with a lot of money, whether that's the stock market or some kind of strategic investor, right, to breathe life into the otherwise worthless shares of Hertz. And Hertz tried. And another misunderstanding of bankruptcy reorganization is that people think bankruptcy is equal to going out of business. Bankruptcy could mean going out of business. But bankruptcy reorganization usually, if you call it reorganization, not liquidation, it's not a classic liquidation. A liquidation means that all assets of the company are sold or otherwise disposed of, and that the business ceases operation. With debtor in possession financing and reorganization, actually the going concern value of the enterprise will be preserved. So what is the going concern value of a company, of a business? It means customer relationships, vendor relationships, and other intangible goodwill, name recognition, the value of the brand, things of that nature. That is the going concern value of the company. They will be preserved in a bankruptcy reorganization, but only for the benefits of the shareholder of the company in reincarceration, not the current shareholders of the company right before the filing of the bankruptcy. So you should try to avoid the mistakes, those two kind of mistakes. So don't think along the line that this company is too important, for example, for national security, for it to go through bankruptcy reorganization. That's not exactly true. Why? Because it's totally feasible for the business not to be interrupted, for the company to go through a bankruptcy reorganization. So if you are buying the shares of a company just because the company itself, the business itself is too important, for example, for national security, it does not mean that your share price, the price you're going to pay for it, you are ever going to see it again. Because it's very likely that your share price will go to zero and the business keeps going for the new shareholders of the company. And don't think along the line that, this company will come back and be in better shape after all the debts are discharged or restructured. Yes, that may be true, but not for the shares you have bought, but for the shares issued to creditors of the company as part of the reorganization process. This is today's topic. If you are interested, you are welcome to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.